Okay, I will tell you right now, Sonny, it would be worth it to watch it. It is a creative game that has a pretty interesting story right now, but just watch this riveting gameplay right here. Oh god. I almost fell there. Oh god. Almost fell there. Almost fell again. Oh, I almost fell again. Alright, everybody good? And then, you know, oh, we almost fell again. Oh man.
Too close.
Woo, I was, whoa, going the other way. Oh, okay. Like I said, riveting gameplay. Riveting. Hey guys, how's it going? This is going to be a review of Death Stranding, a game with very poor gameplay that turned into an absolutely fantastic story. For those of you that don't know, my name is Mike, aka Football Freak 215. Would love for you to become a part of this channel where we do game reviews, stream industry talk, blah, 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 blah. Think about hitting that sub button for me. That'd be absolutely fantastic. And if you like this review, think about hitting a like and tell me in the comments what you think about this game if you've played it before and whether or not you're going to play it in the future. With all that being set aside, let's get into this game. Death Stranding is a game where you are USPS and you decide to deliver packages, but since all of the infrastructure of the United States is destroyed, you must walk everywhere you go. You are literally a postman. Yeah, seems exciting, right? Let me tell you, playing the game can be one, frustrating, can be two, very drawn out and not all that great. But number three, the story that they develop and present to you will blow your mind. It is very lore intensive. There is a ton that goes into the universe. Kojima does a great job presenting an idea that is baffling, absolutely astronomically crazy, and it will shock you. It will blow your mind. It will make you really confused, and you won't be able to understand what the heck you're experiencing. So if you enjoy a single player movie-esque type game that is mind-numbingly terrible in gameplay, this game's the game for you. I know. Okay. So how this is going to go down. I'm going to go over the different parts of the game in my review process and give you a score of what I think the game is like on a scale of 10, 0 to 10. And then I will then at the second part, so that's the first half, I'm going to go through the whole review. Then on the second part, I'm going to try and analyze the story and give you something to think about, or at least we can discuss maybe in the comments and that sort of stuff about the game and all that sort of stuff. Stuff. All I'm trying to say is I don't want to give spoilers to this front half. So let's go with this. Number one, gameplay is absolute garbage. I don't like it. All it is you trying to keep upright while at the meantime trying to avoid enemies, right? Like whether they're the invisible enemies or whether they're the human enemies. Doesn't really matter. All you're trying to do is keep upright. You want to keep the stack of packages on your back not falling down. That's it. That's the entire gameplay. It's not difficult. It's not strange or weird, or it's so simplistic but so monotonous and meticulous on how you actually have to get things done that it is mind-numbingly like, I don't want to do this anymore. But once you get to about 2/3 of the way through the gameplay section, the story ramps up so much that you won't be able to put it down because you need to know what happens next. It takes a very, very, very long time between something interesting and something else interesting. But once you get to the something else interesting, you need to know what happens in the next something interesting. I'm not sure if that really makes any sense, but basically story and then a really long time of gameplay that's really boring and really monotonous, and then story that's really, really cool, and then a lot of gameplay that's really, really monotonous. And then once you get to that third kind of there's some story, everything starts taking off, and you're like, okay, I need to deliver this because I need to know what happens next. I need to deliver this because I need to know what happens next. Many players will die out within the first 2-3 hours of this game because you're like, what on earth is this? This is a terrible game. But if you stick with it, the story will absolutely blow you away. If you get frustrated by having a meticulous, monotonous quest over and over and over again, at least watch the story. The story will be great. I'll have a gameplay coming out here pretty soon of the entire story, and I'll cut out a lot of the monotonous, meticulous walking, but I would say watch the story because I think the story is absolutely brilliant. That'll be in the second part, and there'll be spoilers galore and all that sort of stuff. But going back to this, gameplay's pretty bad. I don't like it. Number 2, graphics are beautiful. Acting is beautiful. Storytelling is really, really good. It keeps you, there's enough twists and turns in this thing that you don't know what the heck's going to happen. And then they throw in different parts that are completely out of this world that throw you, like, I don't even know. It's like you're playing baseball, and instead of the pitcher throwing the ball at you, the catcher decides to throw the ball at you, and you didn't even know the catcher had the ball. What I'm getting at is that things come from out of the blue that you don't expect to happen, and it just becomes, you don't know what's going to happen next, and that makes it very entertaining to play. Because you just have absolutely no clue. I just remember being so astonished of, like, I don't know what could happen next. They introduce so much. There's references to different historical events. There's references to different religions. There's references to different belief systems. There's references to different metaphysical type entities, all sorts of different references to all sorts of different things. And they all somehow weave together to actually make like an understanding, they actually make a cohesive universe. It blows my mind. The creativity, the ingenuity, and the amazement of what was presented in the story. So, as far as a story goes, as far as a presentation of said story goes, this is off the charts, absolutely amazing. There's no linearity. There's not a basis that you build off of to go into something different. There is confusion. There is an enigmatic showing of what the heck you're being presented. And then when it all correlates and comes together, it just blows you away. It completely just like, whoa, what in the heck was this? I applaud this game very well for its storytelling and its development of what the universe was. I completely throw this game under the bus and do not want anything to do with it if you have to play it. It is terrible. It is terrible to play, but it is so well done with the story that I think it like brings it back even, and it looks phenomenal. The cutscenes in it, and I'm a sucker for single player story games, so the cutscenes in it and watching it is just, it's movie brilliance, and I applaud them wholeheartedly. I'm so cut between the two. But anyway, with all that being said, with all the understanding of what this game has to offer and what this game is, I'm going to give it a score of an 8.35. It's kind of a low score, especially for all the praise that I just gave of the story and everything. But that gameplay is so gosh darn awful that I just can't do it. I mean, for real, the boss fights in this, like, so you come to this part where you start having these big creatures that you have to fight. There's two options. There's fight it and just throw these little grenades at it, and that's pretty much all that you can do. Or 2, run away from it and it just goes away. Now, some boss fights are actually like forced and you have to be there, but a lot of the boss fights, you just run away. You just run away. You get out of the circle that they have implemented for the boss fight, and it just goes away. No repercussions. No nothing. And it's like, okay. There becomes a part in the game where you don't care what happens to you. You don't care if you die. You don't care if something unimportant happens or whatever. You just need to get past that one spot or that one set in order to just progress the story. And that's all I wanted to do, was just keep progressing the story. There was no real drive on me caring about the game. I just wanted to know what the story had in store. I didn't care what my statistics said at the end of the game, or whether or not I had died, or how much I had traveled, or how many packages I had delivered. I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted to know what the story had happened. And so that's where it draws back on the game. That's where I try to give it something that's not as praising. But most of these story-driven games are going to get a higher score on my channel just due to the fact that I am a sucker for single-player stories. If you give me a graphic, not graphic in this sense, but if you are highly graphic as far as something that's developed really well, almost human-like or whatever, that I'm watching a movie in, and you have a gripping story, you will suck me in and be able to have, I'll be good to go. That's first half. Get that out of the way. That was a long first half. This is going to be a long second half. We're going to go into the story. There's going to be huge spoilers. I advise you that if you want to play this game, or you want to watch the story and uncover it for yourself, and you want to have that sense of question mark, that sense of I don't know what's going on, please turn away now, because it's gonna go well into it. I can rant all day about this game, and so this video is going to go on for a long time. But with that being said, here's the story that I understand and the story that I gripped new. You are Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus is a man who's estranged from his family, that gets called back to his family, and then, which is all a complete dishevelment. But anyway, gets called back to his family, his mother happens to be the president of the United States at the time, and she wants him to reconnect the United States, which they're calling the United Cities of America. And so what Norman is tasked with is taking this thing called the Cupid, which is like a necklace that has a bunch of, math in it, whatever. And this math or whatever is supposed to be able to connect each one of the cities onto what they call the chiral network. And basically, this chiral network is a substance that has been made to create better communication, better understanding. I'm going to say the chiral substance is something that's from the beyond, from the exterior. And so when he's tasked with this, the whole point of the game is that there's been this Death Stranding, and the Death Stranding is a event that has happened in which people who die, who become, who go into necrosis. I don't know why whatever. Anyway, I don't know why I did the quotation marks. When people go into necrosis, they die and become something called a BT. And basically what a BT is someone who is here in the living realm, but has died and is on the not living realm, which is called the beach. And the beach is where you go when you die. It's kind of like the purgatory of what, the whole Catholicism had for a long time. Purgatory, where you're not really moved on and away from the world, but you're not in the afterlife, but you're also not in the living life, whatever. Anyway, so with that, or with the necrosis becoming BT, you have to maneuver and get around the BTs, right? And the BTs are dead folk, and they're not. But anyway, Norman starts going through all this stuff and is connecting all the cities, and eventually gets to the end where Emily, he's been trying to get to his sister who's being trapped by terrorists, and Emily is her name, and she's on the West Coast, and they started in Washington, D.C., basically. So you go from Washington, D.C., and you go all the way across the states, and you get over into the West Coast eventually. There's a whole bunch that happens in the middle of that. The terrorists using atomic bombs to blow up cities, causing void outs that then blow up the city or make the city's death zone, and all sorts of different stuff. It goes absolutely crazy. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense. But then you get over there, and Emily turns out to be controlling or giving powers to this guy named Higgs, who's supposed to be the lead terrorist. And then I'm recapping the entire story. Long story short, Emily's behind the entire thing. She's the extinction entity, which you've been understanding this entire time. We're going to rant. Emily is the source of all the problems, and my honest to God not understanding what the heck is going on, truth to this is that we decipher or we break apart this entire extinction event with a simple hug. Something that Sam's been doing for eons and eons. And it all just decides to end. So Emily apparently just has the ability to stop the extinction, which she's quote unquote been wanting to do this entire time, but can't because she needs a hug from Sam. It blows my mind on like where they went with the ending of the story, but it's just the twist and turn. And like, I'm gonna be honest, the first tornado thing that happens, at South Knot, I think it's South Knot. I'm pretty sure it is. The first tornado that you get sucked up into and you go into World War II, absolutely brilliant. That's the biggest out of the blue curveball, wacko tobacco thing that you could possibly have done. And that's what actually got me interested. It took me, 7, 10, 15 million hours to get there. But I eventually got to that point and I couldn't put it down. I needed to know exactly what happened for this entire story. And so the whole idea of the extinction events, the beaches coming together, for everybody's beaches coming together that bring a line from Emily's beach down into the earth, and it's causing massive, massive issues with the extinction event. Completely, absolutely blew my mind. Didn't understand it, but like Norman doesn't do anything. Or I say Norman, Sam Bridges doesn't do anything at all, none whatsoever, to actually cause or stop the extinction event from happening, but eventually it just does. What? I don't get it. I really don't get it. But I'm so baffled by the entire thing that it just doesn't seem to make me care at that point. It is a beautifully made story that just baffled me. Absolutely. If you guys have comments, if you're understanding what happened more than I did, please put them down in the comments below. I would love to talk to you guys about it. I've rambled for a really long time. And so long story short on all this stuff or whatever. There's way too many parts to go into this, and I have just, I don't know. I'm so lost right now. Would love to talk to you more about it. Whether that's in the Twitch channel that happens every single night at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, whether that's in the comments below, whether that's, I don't know, through Twitter DMs or anything of that sort of nature. I would love to talk to you about it. We can go over it. This has been just a brain dump, a complete just overhaul and not thought out review at all. But anyway, it's a very decent game. If you enjoyed watching this, please give it a like, and I would love to talk to you about it down in the comments below. Enjoy your freaking day. I kind of just could probably stop there. I don't know what to do. Right now. There's just way too much to get into with this game that makes it almost impossible for me to just sit here and give you something that incorporates all of it. So thank you. I appreciate your viewing. Hope you enjoyed all of this. Enjoy one of these other videos. Enjoy something with your day. I'm out of here, and I'm still baffled. Every time I think about this, it absolutely baffles me. So I'll see you later. Bye.